Hello, welcome to Retail Focus. I'm John Suder, and this is my partner in all the crimes, Bart Meraz.
All of them?
All the crimes, and most of the crimes. Well, there's been a few crimes we left out. I won't tell anybody. Before we get started today, Bart, why don't you tell me your awesome thing this week?
My awesome thing this week. Oh, shoot. I don't know anymore.
Bart comes so prepared to this podcast.
I am sorry. My awesome thing. My new hat. I kind of like it. It's gritty. It's kind of nice.
I like gritty the gritty, but it's gritty.
It's still gritty.
Still gritty. I had something pretty awesome happen to me actually yesterday. A reporter reached out from Defector. His name is Dan McQuaid. People in Philly know who Dan is. He reached out to interview me about a project I was involved in back in my past life when I worked for West Coast Video. We produced a video for the Philadelphia Eagles called "Buddy's Watching You." If you're on the video portion, I'm holding up the box. My only contribution in this project was to design the box, and my friend John Skidmore designed the illustration there. So he interviewed me. It was so long ago because, I'll read off the players: Randall Cunningham, Mike Quick, Reggie White, Louisa
Wow.
Davis. I mean, we're talking old school Eagles, like 88. He interviewed me about the production of the video. It was pretty interesting. That will appear, I guess, I don't know, this week, maybe next week. I will share that in the show notes if it ever becomes available.
Nice. That's fun.
So Bart, you got your gritty hat. Cool. The birds coming up. So let's get into it. All right. First story. UPS to scale back on Amazon packages. The United Parcel Service has announced plans to reduce its business with Amazon by over 50% within the next 18 months. The decision stems from the realization that although Amazon constitutes nearly 12% of UPS's revenue, the profit margins from this partnership are relatively slim. UPS aims to focus on more profitable ventures, such as healthcare and international deliveries. They're aiming to double healthcare revenue to $20 billion by 2026. To make up for the anticipated loss, the company plans to reconfigure its U.S. network, reduce labor hours, and downsize its fleet, targeting $1 billion with a B in savings. Despite these strategic moves, UPS's stock experienced a significant drop, reflecting investor concerns about the short-term impacts of this shift. So what's really happening? Well, Amazon's been building their own delivery network. As you can see, if you're a human with eyeballs, you'll see all the nice Amazon trucks on the road. UPS wants higher margin customers. They want to prioritize profitability over pure volume. The numbers: Amazon equals 11.8% of UPS revenue in 24, down from 13% in 20. Fewer packages, but more money per shipment. Thomas Black, a Bloomberg opinion columnist, wrote, to make up for the volume decline, UPS will shrink the number of sorting facilities, delivery trucks, and aircraft, delivering $1 billion in cost savings. So the question is, who wants to allocate business resources to Amazon when the company is directly competing with your services? It's been clear for a while that Amazon aims to fully supplant third-party carriers with its own delivery network. Bart, your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, they've been pushing that for a very long time, right? Like they have their own cars, and I mean, even the flex stuff, right? Where people just do a gig of work when they deliver stuff. Plus, I think not only the Amazon business, I think there's this whole shore posting that happened that they have to deliver that is going to USPS. And there's also the last mile delivery. There's a whole bunch of that are popping up all over the place, right? Yeah, there's the laser ships. There's like all these third party small delivery networks now.
Then you have your gig DoorDashers and things like that. I mean, that's a form of delivery that could play a factor in this.
Absolutely. So them going after the bigger ticket things are great from a number perspective, but what's that's going to do to actual delivery drivers, right? The thing about UPS, though, it's a union shop. So that's always interesting. Like FedEx is a different way of doing it. If you didn't know that FedEx, like regular FedEx, they're corporate, but there's also regional, which is all franchises technically.
I was going to say franchise.
They're all franchise model, right? Where UPS, it's totally union shop.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it interesting how they're going to deliver and where they're going to fight for next, because was it a year ago they were doing their whole strikes and figuring out what's next? Yeah. So, I mean, it's coming. I mean, Amazon will do their thing. They're going to deliver their own packages, and they're getting bigger and bigger in that world. So
whether we like it or not. Have you seen the new Amazon electric trucks on the road?
Everywhere. I mean,
a warehouse by me, so now I get stuck behind 10 of them every time I try to get to the main road.
they're all built by Rivian, so it's a Rivian truck.
I like the brake lights. They go all the way around the top and around.
So apparently, there's a problem with them. So I don't know if they fixed this problem or not. The problem with it is if they have their blinkers on and the backup lights, they don't do blinking or because the red thing does it. So there's a problem with that when they back up.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Those lights were pretty.
Oh, they are pretty. I'm saying like they probably do a software update because it's a Rivian, it's electric, you know. So, but for smaller places where you kind of deliver like around you, where they have a warehouse down the street, the electric stuff is great, you know. And apparently, I mean, they were specifically built for Amazon, so every detail is kind of specifically there. And from what I've heard, drivers like them because it's like it's
probably a bathroom inside of it because they don't want them stopping for potty breaks, right?
They don't care about that. But there's cameras. There's cameras everywhere, and I saw they just got step tracking too.
Those poor drivers.
I know.
All right, next story. EU takes steps to hold e-commerce accountable. The European Union is taking bold steps to hold e-commerce giants like Amazon, Shein, and Temu accountable for unsafe or illegal goods sold on their platforms. So what's happening? Liability for unsafe goods. Platforms will now be held responsible for dangerous or illegal products sold through their sites. Pre-arrival data checks. Platforms must provide customs data before goods even arrive in the EU, giving officials a chance to inspect and flag risks early. New central authority. A centralized EU customs authority, EUCA, will pool data from all 27 member states to screen goods and identify potential risks before they're shipped. So why does this matter? Right now, buyers are treated as the importers for customs purposes. This reform shifts that responsibility to the platforms like Amazon and Shein. Platforms will have to collect duties and VAT taxes and ensure products meet EU safety standards. The bigger picture is this isn't just about logistics, it's about consumer safety and accountability. The EU wants to crack down on unsafe goods flooding the market via e-commerce platforms. Fast fashion giants like Shein could face steep fines, up to 6% of global revenue, for violating these rules. The proposed reforms are still in draft form, but if passed, they could reshape how online retailers operate in Europe and potentially set a global precedent. It'll probably never happen here.
No.
No, next story.
Next story.
Yeah, not much to say about this. I mean, this is a great thing for the EU. As our country rolls back every protection, EU continues to expand and take care of the consumer. I hear a lot of interesting things about Europe, and it just seems like such a strange and wonderful place to be now.
Yeah, I mean, it's, trying to protect your consumers a lot more than as in US has always been a consumer kind of place. So it's consumerism, right? You want cheap stuff all the time. I mean, this is the problem with tariffs, right? You're not going to get cheap stuff all the time.
No.
And one of the biggest things right now is, I know we're talking about Europe, but right now is they got rid of the minimum stuff or the max or minimum stuff. So anything, if you're only shipping 800 items, like whatever that was, like you get tariffs on them anyway.
Yeah. I heard they paused that, or I can't keep up because it changes from day to day now. That's why I didn't address that in one of our stories, because it kept changing.
It's hour by hour right now.
It's hour by hour.
We do not know.
But yeah, I mean, common sense tells you that if you have a safe and healthy consumer, they're going to spend more money. I don't know why that's not true in America, because we just...
Yeah, I mean, so the European, like that whole overseas stuff from Temu or any one of those things, like the cheaper goods, there's a lot of fraud in it too. Listen, I've ordered stuff and I got fraudulent things. Or like order something that looks like one way, then you get it. You're like, this is not it at all whatsoever. And I don't know if that happens there and it gets shipped that way, or they ship it here to somewhere and it gets reshipped and they just like change it up. So there's a lot of like in between frauds. So you have to watch that, right? Yes, people want cheaper goods all the time.
But cheaper doesn't always mean, obviously cheaper generally never equates to quality, and quality sometimes can be so poor that it is dangerous. Meaning,
yes,
you open a bag from Shein, you're like, what is this?
Well, right. You don't want, Yes, that. You don't want unsafe metals or chemicals or anything else in them, right?
I'm already full of microplastics. I don't need any more plastic. I'm good.
Just big plastic.
Just big plastic. All right, let's get to the next story. A lot of news going around with TikTok. We reported on the ban, which was quickly rolled back. So the question now is, who's buying a stake in TikTok? Rumors have been circulating the past few weeks of purchase by an American partner for a partial TikTok ownership stake. The key potential investors, as of this date, recording date February 6, 2025, Oracle, already in talks with the White House to manage TikTok's algorithm and data infrastructure. Frank McCord's Project Liberty publicly expressed openness to a 50% ownership agreement. General Atlantic, they hold a current stake in ByteDance and is optimistic about finding a solution. And your old friend Microsoft was mentioned as a potential investor in early discussions. Interestingly, an expected bidder has also surfaced. Perplexity AI, a search engine startup, which we talk about frequently, has expressed interest in potentially merging with or acquiring part of TikTok. The Trump administration's vision, they see a joint venture where American investors own at least 50% of TikTok. ByteDance maintains a minority stake, and Oracle would oversee technical operations. While negotiations are ongoing, no final buyer has been confirmed. The White House is actively working to create a deal that satisfies national security concerns while keeping TikTok operational for its 170 million US users. Okay, so one of those potential suitors was Frank McCourt's Project Liberty. Never heard of this before. Didn't know that Frank McCourt was the former owner of the Dodgers. With his initiative, Project Liberty, McCourt aims to revolutionize the platform by enhancing user privacy and data control. Nothing wrong with that. McCourt plans to implement the Decentralized Social Networking Protocol, DSNP, allowing users to own and manage their data, reducing reliance on algorithms that dictate content. And a privacy focus. By shifting away from the traditional data extraction model, the goal is to create a safer and more transparent social media environment, especially for younger users. The big challenge for Mr. McCourt? Despite a worth of $2.4 billion, McCourt still needs to raise approximately $25 billion with $1 billion to fund the acquisition. And of course, the regulatory landscape. The government expressed concerns over TikTok's data practices, leading to potential bans unless the platform transitions to American ownership. So that could solve that. McCourt is fundraising. He's trying to start some partnerships with some financial institutions. I don't know what is going to happen with this. And there was something that came in this morning. ByteDance appears to be slow rolling the partnerships. They don't want to move into anything too quickly because of trade wars, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is a moving target. I will let Bart speak freely on this one.
This is never going to happen.
It's never going to happen, or you?
No, it's problem with it is, yes, the trade war doesn't make it better.
No.
That's one. Two.
That's why they're dragging their feet.
The way everybody's looking is, oh, China owns this. They don't, because of all the other investors globally. But in reality, say China, the entrepreneurs own it, the owners of ByteDance own some of it. They're never going to give up the algorithm.
No.
So who cares? Like most of these sales that you saw, that most of the way they're bidding for this, they just want TikTok without the algorithm. So what's the point?
What is the point?
Build an app like that. People are building apps like that right now on top of AT protocol.
That's the only thing that's worth
anything. Right. Like people are already building the interfaces for Blue Sky's protocol and doing that with video. It's already there. So like, who cares? Like in reality, maybe Snapchat would be the best place to put this in. They're not going to bid for it.
No.
But the interface is there. Nobody cares about that. Like the interface doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, the interface is probably, I hate to use this word, the easiest part, but that's the basic part that anybody can build. And Instagram is really trying, they're really trying to be, I think they really saw an uptick when the outage occurred. And I think they're really hoping that this slow rolls long enough that they can gain more users.
Yeah. I mean, here's the value of it, right? The algorithm is the most valuable thing in there, right? Mm-hmm. People's data is the other one. So what? They're buying people's data?
Like these data anyway.
Right. So the algorithm is literally the most valuable thing. Can you Can you replicate it? I mean, I think people try, but they haven't been that successful, right? The beauty of TikTok and the simplicity of it is that it's not your account going viral. It's a single video that can go viral. You can open a TikTok account, only have one video that goes viral, right? The beauty of it is what you're watching and has all that stuff. Can you replicate it in some way? Sure, but not at this level that it's already built, you know?
Let's play simple man here. What is the secret sauce and why is it so hard to replicate? Yes, it's the algorithm, but what makes the algorithm so unique that no one has seemed to been able to replicate it?
I mean, obviously there's a whole bunch of, but on the simplicity side of it, it's based on your individual engagement of videos, right? So like my feed is totally different than your feed. It's all individualized. So things you're engaged with, you look at, you're still on the video longer, you don't like, your comment, like there's a whole bunch of stuff that kind of follows that, you know?
I get that, but why can it not be replicated so simply?
Because they have it tuned so well. You could probably replicate, but tuning it's going to take you forever.
Right.
You know?
So it's the speed that's probably stopping an Instagram.
Here's how I see it, that it's difficult to do. Nobody has done it. Instagram hasn't done it. Facebook hasn't done it. Snapchat hasn't done it. They haven't done it. I know they're trying. They have to be trying. There's no way they're not. But nobody has done it yet. So without it, what's the point? Like you look at Instagram, right? They have an interface already. It has that swiping interface. You can do that. They can probably produce what's it called? All the eCommerce stuff built in or whatever else it is, and you can do all those things, right? But they don't have the algorithm that's so tuned to your own individual thing. Like if it was easy, there's no way they wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like
I get that. I get that. My question, I guess, I'll say it again, is it's can be done. You're not saying that it is impossible. I do not think it is impossible. I think it's the time that it would take. And by the time somebody like a Frank McCourt threw $25 billion in, oops, suddenly Snapchat figured out the secret sauce and Frank just peed away $25 billion.
Well, that's part of it. But also if you're buying TikTok and they're not going to give you the algorithm, who cares?
Yeah, who cares? That's right.
I mean, look at all the social media out there. We used to have Friendster. We used to have MySpace. Facebook is there. And Instagram and Snapchat. Like all this stuff comes around. TikTok stuck around because it's pretty damn good. It just made sense for people.
I'm big on Friendster still.
I mean, listen, it's the right timing. You know, COVID kind of did it. It was the right timing for it. But people have curated and made businesses out of it because it made the most sense for it. This is why all these other people are fighting against it. But at the end of the day, if you're buying the company without the algorithm, then what are you putting the money into?
Right. It could be a $25 billion hole. We don't know.
Just put $25 billion, start your own company doing the same thing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not looking at it differently. And you know, ByteDance is not going to sell you the company fully without it. Like it makes no sense. No. Unless it's, I mean, listen, 25 billion is 25 billion. They could take that and split it up or whatever, but still.
Send you half, send me half. We'll be call it a day.
I don't know. I mean, and then trade tensions now, they're like, nope.
Yeah, it's not it. It's a very, very tricky scenario. It's been hard to report upon considering how quickly things are changing.
Yeah. I mean, my last rant thing is you know, the administration wants to buy half of it, but you're just doing the same thing that you're accusing China of doing.
Yeah.
I don't want the government owning half the company. No. I mean, that would just literally, as soon as that happens.
Yeah. I saw the red light just going on. It's like, we don't trust this app. And then suddenly it's like, wait a second, we could own that data. Maybe this is a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care which administration it is. I don't care which one it is. As soon as government owns half of it, nope. Yeah. Everybody's going to be out. And literally everybody's going to be out of that.
Yeah.
So what's the point? What's the point of wasting that much money?
All right. TikTok's traffic rebounded to about 90% in the US since briefly going offline and being removed from the Apple and Google app stores, according to Cloudflare data. However, traffic to TikTok alternatives, as I mentioned, has also increased, peaking on January 19th, the day TikTok came back online. And I mentioned in our last podcast that I noticed a ton of people had moved over to Instagram and RedNote and all the others just to say, oh my God, I need my backup plan. So the proof is in the stats. All right, next story. Huge Indian e-commerce hack. Imagine being able to buy expensive items online for just pennies. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, for 3 individuals in India, it was a reality, at least for a while. These hackers managed to infiltrate several e-commerce platforms and exploited vulnerabilities in the system. They manipulated prices, buying goods worth a whopping 850,000 US dollars for practically nothing. From luxury gadgets to high-end fashion, they went on a shopping spree that would make anyone's jaw drop. But here's the twist. The digital joyride didn't last long. Authorities caught up with them after an investigation revealed their sneaky tactics. Turns out they were using sophisticated techniques to bypass security measures, essentially tricking the websites into thinking they were paying full price when they weren't. This case highlights 2 big issues. First, how vulnerable some e-commerce systems can be, and second, the growing sophistication of cybercriminals. For businesses, it's a wake-up call to beef up their cybersecurity. And for consumers, it's a reminder that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. I thought this was pretty funny.
Hold on, John. I'm logging in. Passwords. Sorry. Like, oops.
It's pretty funny.
Tells you a lot about update your software at all times and make sure you're up to it.
Yeah.
And your security procedures.
Update your plugins, as a WordPress guy would say.
Or everything. Make sure everything is
update everything. Use 2-factor identification. And kids, freeze your credit report and go print out your social security system statements, elders.
Just overall, like, just a
keep an eye on it, man.
decent. I think people need to be taught a lot more about security. I think the funniest part about all this is, like, I know we're just off topic, but like, older people and youngsters have the same problems. They don't know how to use tech and security. We've been around it for so long. It's like just given.
Listen, I am a firm believer in keeping things simple, so I just make everything password 1, 2, 3.
Right, because nobody's going to guess that.
Nobody's going to guess it.
It's like, you're not going to be that stupid to like make it.
We would never have a password like that.
Anyway, I guess it's just a big oopsie.
Yeah, big oopsie. It was pretty funny. The article, I think, was in Reuters, showed the Indian police arresting these guys. And they're just 3 guys are just standing there like this. There's 3 dudes, in their 20s. They're like, man, we had fun. We had joy.
I mean, you screwed up. Why am I getting,
We had joy. We had fun. We had seasons in the sun. All right. Next story. Apple kills AR glasses project. This is not the Vision Pro. This is their AR glasses. Surprising move from Apple that's got the tech world buzzing. Apple has decided to pull the plug on a project they've been working on for years. Augmented reality glasses that were designed to connect with computers. Mac computers, of course. After investing tons of time, money, and brain power into this futuristic idea, Apple has officially scrapped it. According to insiders, the project faced some big challenges. For one, the technology just wasn't ready to meet Apple's famously high standards. AR glasses are a tough nut to crack. They need to be lightweight, stylish, and powerful enough to deliver a seamless experience. But balancing all those factors proved to be way harder than expected. On top of that, there were concerns about whether people would actually want to use them in their daily lives. Would they catch on like AirPods or end up as another forgotten gadget? The decision is a pretty big deal because Apple is known for pushing boundaries and setting trends in tech. And the fact that they've walked away from this project shows how tricky AR development can be, even for a company with practically unlimited resources. And let's not forget, Apple isn't alone here. Other players like Meta and Google have also struggled to make AR glasses mainstream. But don't count Apple out just yet. While they may have shelved this particular project, they're still heavily invested in AR and virtual reality. In fact, they're doubling down on other products like their Vision Pro headset, which is shaping up to be the next big push into immersive tech. So what's the takeaway? Innovation isn't always a straight path. It's full of twists, turns, and sometimes dead ends. Even though Apple's AR glasses won't see the light of day, the story reminds us that failure is often part of the process when it comes to groundbreaking tech. Who knows what Apple will come up with next?
Way too many glasses out there.
Way too many. And a note, Meta's Ray-Ban smart glasses have surpassed 1 million units sold. Zuckerberg highlighted the company's lead in the category with plans to expand their AI-powered glasses further this year. So there's one comment I'd like to make. Scott Galloway said it famously. I'm going to paraphrase this, but he said, the male's role in society is to show that he can be a provider and be smart and take care of his family. And when you put a thing on your face, that shows that you're not you're not that attractive to mates. I totally screwed it up, but you get the point.
Yeah, I've heard him say that. Yeah, I mean, that the Facebook ones, because they're using Ray-Bans, they look pretty good. I mean, the smaller they get,
if they start to shrink them down as they will, I would actually buy. I would buy because I wear dark glasses. I don't have them with me, but I wear dark frame glasses. Yeah,
I do. I don't have them on me, right? Like I don't wear it right now, but like once they get into these kind of things where it's easier, like yeah, sure. I mean, that's going to come about at some point. I mean, technology is going to get smaller and tinier. You can like fit them all in here.
Yeah, there are days where I wish there was a camera right here to capture the insanity that I see on a daily basis. But you know,
yeah, I mean, Google Glasses was just something.
it's a little.
That was a whole thing. Till they actually come out with, till it gets to this version where people are just wearing glasses. Great. Eventually it'll be fun to have them in context, but I don't think we're gonna see that.
We're not there yet. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Like I said, the Meta Smart glasses, I think they're going to beat Apple when it comes to that kind of thing. Google doesn't seem to be doing anything with that lately. And I would not buy a Vision Pro only because of the price, and I don't see myself sitting in a room wearing those giant things on my head.
True.
All right, we're running out of time, so that's it for this week. If you like the podcast, make sure to tell your friends and share. If you prefer the video experience, you can check us out on our YouTube channel. We'll also be rolling out a newsletter next week where you can get show notes and updates on new podcasts. And lastly, check us out on the socials. We'll include the links in the show notes. Bart, closing thoughts.
Go Birds.
Go
Let's
Birds.
go.
What's your prediction on the score?
I have no prediction on the score. I just want them to win.
I think it's Eagles 785, Chiefs 3. No, I'm going to say 34-21 Eagles.
That's it's going to be close, I think.
I think it's going to be close. I hope it's close. I just don't want these refs to be Chiefs adjacent this week. And that is all. All right, everyone. See you next week. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Yeah, Birds.
What do you do now?